What's going on? It's your boy, Lulu the Great, aka Couple One for the Streets, or just regular Keith. And right now, I'll give you another edition of Actual Factual. This right here, big. What I want to talk about for the Actual Factual is the train. And by the way, just not any train. It's MTA, New York City Metropolitan Transit Authority, and that number you see on there is a 6, the world famous 6 train. Let me tell y'all some stuff that's actual and factual about the 6 train. So, to make it a little personal, first I'm gonna start with myself. So I had to take the 6 train to go to school. For anybody that knows, if you was going downtown, 86th Street was a major stop you could get off. Most people that got off at 86th Street was either going to AES, no, actually, I'm sorry, 96th Street. They'd be going to AES. Down. You go to 77th Street, and you got a couple of corporate people that's going to get off. Train is still packed. Next stop, 68th Street, Hunter College. So now you got the college people getting off. You got the people that went to Vanguard. You know what I mean? Those schools, they getting off, right? Which is, you had a couple of people that was rowdy, you had a couple of people that was cool, so that was still alright. But you had a lot of the college students, the freshmen that you thought that you could, you know what I mean, whether you was a junior, sophomore, senior, you probably felt like you could probably get into, into the loop with it, but you might not be able to get into the loop because they sort of felt like they was in college, so they felt like you was still a little boy because you was in high school. For my super seniors that's out there, you belong with them, but that's a whole nother story. So keep going down. Let's get right where I need to get into. 42nd Street, you know what I mean? You know what that is. That's just hustle and bustle, people transferring. 33rd Street. Oh my God. If you was on that 6 train, 33rd Street. Norman Thomas. Notorious for the Latin community. And when I mean it was crazy. Whether it was the Latin Kings, whether it was DDP, whether it was Batia, whatever it was, these are different gangs that was around that era. If you had static with a Hispanic person and you was on that 6 train at 33rd Street, it was definitely a problem for you. Definitely shitting downtown. But before we get off at 33rd Street, you had a lot of the beautiful Hispanics that was getting off. The dudes, some of the dudes was fly. They was Jordaned out. You already knew what time they was on. Pele jeans. They had the Jordans. You know what I mean? Some of them had the long braids with the little shape up. Some of them just had the short haircut. You know what I mean? But they had their era. They was doing anything. I can't even lie. But now, after 33rd, you get to 14th Street. Oh my God. Washington Irving. This is where it was a mixture, but the African American black kids that was getting off that train or getting on that train, oh my goodness, it was a fight every day. You had to get it on. There was definitely about 3 or 4 deep. The minimum. I was on the minimum, 3 or 4 deep. It was like Warriors. You ever seen the movie Warriors? Where you had to get on the train, it was like just surviving. Like let me just keep it actual and factual. A lot of people came to school late, not because they was lazy and they want to go to school, because 9 out of 10, everybody parent was giving them the boot in the morning. You had to get up and get out the house. Whether you went to school or not, you was not able to just chill in your crib. You had to go. So now that you had to go, it was always that sense of like, okay, for those who was gully, they was still getting on the train, or they was waiting for their people at a stop. They was getting on the train together. They was riding out together. But for those who was partly by themselves, or partly didn't have enough street clout, or whatever can they be, or just bought a new pair of headphones, or Walkman, or something like that, or got a new book bag, JanSport, you had all the strings on the back, or you had the new North Face joint, or you had the spider jacket with the zip clip. When it came to that, some kids deliberately got on that train like at 9:30 because you wanted to miss that rush of craziness, that rush of possibly getting beat up. It was nasty. So me personally, I didn't go to none of those schools. I went to a small school called Legacy. Doesn't exist no more, unfortunately. That were acting tough, or tougher than they actually are, because they was in a school with a capacity of 3,000 students. I was hood smart. I was trying to be book smart. You know what I mean? I ain't the smartest guy, but I was definitely trying to go to school. Anybody that know me, they can vouch. I definitely was trying to go to school. I definitely wasn't trying to cut. I definitely was trying to get good grades. But however, once the school stuff and the grade stuff was over, I could get in the mix. Another actual factual, have you ever had to use the bathroom and somebody pulled the emergency alarm and you had to wait an extra 45 minutes for the conductor to take the brakes, the emergency lock brakes off, and then they do like a walk through all the cars to make sure everybody good before it can keep going? On top of that, you had the situations where you had people dancing. So now it's crowded. It's showtime. Hey, 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 hey. They getting crazy, but nobody's getting hit. So I don't know what these new guys are doing, but in my era, when they was getting busy on the trains, it would be packed. They doing cartwheels, flips, they swirling over your head, all kind of stuff, but nobody was getting hit, nobody was getting hurt. And it was a talent. I always thought that they should be like in a circus or something. Not saying that they're animals, but like just off of the fact that they was able to produce this kind of entertainment in a short type of space, and nobody was getting hurt, nobody was getting injured, and they was very talented too. They was very talented. I mean, I did go to Brooklyn Bridge. That's where you had the Mary Bertrams. So you had, like, you know what I mean, a lot of the girl basketball players who was cute, who probably took the train, or you probably had some of the dudes that, you know, whatever, they was like normal people to me. I never really see the gangsters get off there unless they was going to court. But that's a whole nother story. You know, you had the Asian community, they got your battery, so when the Walkman was about to die. Because not for nothing, the Walkman can probably hold your album for maybe like your CD for like 2 albums. You get two good albums before your battery start dying. So, you know what I mean, the Asian person will be coming through, battery. You'll get a quick pack, real quick for $1. That will be clutch. That will be super clutch. So that's one. So for those who know, right, if you was on the younger end of things, you always put that paper bag. And Cabby School, they told us how to put the paper bag to cover the front of the book so you won't damage the book, even though the book was already damaged when you got it, but that's a whole other story. That's another actual factual. But wrap up the book, because nobody didn't want you to know what kind of book you was reading. So everybody that was into the coldest winter ever, some people was doing the Zang thing, some people was doing the Diary of the Superhead, the Corinne Steffens, or whatever, depending on the age group you came in. Some people had the Donald Goings or whatever, but some people didn't want people to know what book they was reading, because people be nosy, people judge you. People will judge you. Oh man, y'all ain't hearing me though. Y'all don't hear me. Your book bag. Oh my God, you had to carry so many books in your bag that it was like crazy. Like, it was hard for people to get on. Like, some people had to take their book bag off to put it in their lap just because it was just so many books. Crazy. It was craziness. It was crazy. And the train surfers. What's a train surfer? They'll get on top of the train. Mind you, the gap between the ceiling and the roof of the train is about this much, if that. People will get up on the top of the train and we'll lay down and let it go. Sometimes we'll stand up, and while it's on the outside, where the platform where you could actually get on and get up, you'll stand up, and then right before it gets under the tunnel, you have to hurry up and get to the breaking point, the middle of the trains where you could divide trains, you could change carts. You have to get there at a certain time. You have to get there by a certain time. People got hurt. People got killed. It was crazy. We'll have situations where on the same train, you could, if you was an amateur, what you would do is when the doors are closed, you would stand on the side. It was like a little step before you got in the train where the doors closed, right? You would step on that and you would hold on the sides and just glide down before the train actually started picking up too much speed. If you was nice, they could pick up speed, and then right before it got to the wall, you could jump off. But when you jump off, you had to have a little run to you. You can't just jump because you're going to hit your face, or you're going to hit that pole because you know it's beams right there that says the sign, 116th Street, 112, 110th Street, 96th Street, etc., etc. So you had to know how to jump and run to keep the momentum. You couldn't just jump and stop. For all my people that got on the back of the bus, that's a whole other topic. They had a game called Knockout, where you had to show that you had the one-hitter quitter. You have to walk up, bow, put somebody down. It was bad. They did get their justice back. Some of us got arrested for it. Some of us got beat up and got snuffed because when the gangs came around, they started doing the same thing. Oh, you know, to join the gang, you got to punch and stuff. That's a whole nother subject. Early hotels outside of Pebble Beach. People were really getting it on. They'll kick the back of the train, kick in the back door, right? Get into the back door. It was small. When I mean it was small, it was like 2 cubic feet. 2 cubic feet of space. Where people was getting it popped. Ever get on a train, or if you ever see me get on a train, I try not to ever get into the one that's by the door that when you can change carts, it's the 4-seater. I'll go by the 2. I usually try to sit at the 2-seater, never the 4-seater, because the 4-seater was the boom, 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 and also that was like the king size bed for the bum, for the homeless man, for sure. I get it. Sometimes you tired from work, you tired from school, whatever. You might want to cop a squat. That's why parents would say, don't sit on the bed in your outside clothes because of that. Just solely because of that. Not because of nothing else. Not because of the park bench. Not because you was playing basketball. Not because you was jogging. Not because you just didn't bathe. But no, because they know if you got on that train, it was nasty work. Nasty. How can I forget that? People made a couple bucks. You go to that spot. There was a few spots you could go to. You go to the spot, you cop the box of chocolate or the box of candy for $20. You sell each candy for $1. It was about 48 that came in the box. On top of the donations, because some people won't even want the candy. They have to see you, oh, little kid, huh? Take the $1, enjoy. Take the $5, enjoy. So now that's profit on top of the fact that you actually selling the candy and you actually making a profit off of that. It was a killer. So that was a hustle. You know what I mean? We also had the other hustle we had was with the Metro cards. Oh boy, the Metros. So for y'all don't know, real quick, you had a Metro card, no fare, insufficient. It will say insufficient fund. You get your bend on, boom, there's a certain way you do it, certain technique, pop, 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 pop. You hit it a couple times, you bend it back, and you was good to go. You get that one ride. It was only good for that one use. And after that, you had to go. Or what you could do is you could take a whole bunch of them. We had a way of consolidating all of the finances from each of the cards and put into one card, and now we can hit you with a $20 joint. We can hit you with a $20 card for $10, $15, and we have a whole bunch of them. It was crazy. But that's how we was getting our money, man. Hopping the turnstiles. So this is outside of the 6 train. Hopping the train, you had to be nice. If you were short, you had to know how to like whoop whoop. Up and under, real quick, whoop, whoop, where you coming up, but you still where the thing at, and then you just tap the back, so it sounds like the turnstile move. That was a trick. That's why a lot of y'all was getting caught, because y'all ain't have the technique, but that's another thing. Getting back, stay back on track, right? So now we have a situation where, outside of that, if you was tall, you had to get your hop on, but you had to do 2 feet at a time. The mistake a lot of people made was they try to go 1 foot at a time, and psychologically, well, once that first foot get over, that second foot always get caught. And because you ain't pay your fare, that it's not going to budge, it's not going to move, it's going to move backwards. So then you're going to get the boop, you're going to tumble, you're going to look stupid, and you're going to get caught. Double embarrassment. And last but not least, you had for the skinny mini people, you was able to turn it back a little bit and get your leg right through, boop, boop, boop. 1, 2, 3. The turnstile sound like it's moving. You got through. Boom, boom, boom. You had to do it smooth. For the people that was nice, they know how to do it smooth. You know what I mean? Me, I paid my fare, or sometimes the door open. I probably hit the door, but then I'll tell them like, you know, is it okay if I go? So even though I didn't pay my fare maybe a few times as a kid, it's because either I was going to a basketball game, and you know, at the time, it was on a school Metro card that would run out at a certain time. So sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, we know you're a kid, go ahead. You know what I mean? But outside of that, man, that's just the actual factual about this 6 train, man. 2 train, the D train, the A train, they all had their elements. But the 6 train was heavy.